Scott and Kieran here with Southwest Boxing Media and Association Bricks and Streetwear. Delighted to be joined by Raz. Raz, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Obviously, thanks, for joining us today. We do really appreciate your time. And like the rest of us, mate, did you enjoy this weekend's boxing just gone?
I really enjoyed it. I watched Liam Williams. I just thought Andrade was he's elite level, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's really good. And listen, mate, I always say to everybody, if you've got a slick southpaw in front of you who's sitting right back onto the back foot, as soon as you get in the ring, you're one round down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
But Liam Williams, mate, is a tough cookie, and mate, is going to get his opportunity again, and I'm sure he'll take it because he kept coming. And if he was 15 rounds, it probably would have been a different story, mate. But saying that, Andrade got away with fucking murder. He was holding, and he was doing the lot, and he should have had a few points taken off, but not taking no credit away from him. He's an elite fighter, isn't he?
Definitely, mate. You're much of a boxing fan in your spare time. Some boxers we speak to, watch every second of boxing. Others sort of zone in and zone out. I mean, what side do you fall on, mate?
Well, to be honest with you, first, when I was young and I was an amateur, it was different. I was watching loads of boxing, but when I become a pro, I kind of stopped watching so much. But I knew everything about boxing. But now, once again, for the last 4 or 5 months, mate, I'm watching boxing every day. I mean, every single day I'm trying to learn something, and it makes the difference, doesn't it? That 0.5% or something, it just really makes a difference. So yeah, I do watch a lot of boxing now.
What's this? Is it like YouTube, or is it a specific fight do you watch, or the biggest fights? Well, I mean, is there anything specific?
Not really, mate. I try to watch fighters who I box like. For example, tall, rangy, orthodox fighters. I watch a lot of Thomas Hearns. I like Joe Calzaghe, Bernard Hopkins. I like to follow what their lives about and what they do on a day-to-day, because people don't know this, but boxing is more than just training and fighting. It's a day-to-day life. It's a mindset. It's from when you wake up in the morning to when you go sleep in the night. Everything has to be around boxing, mate, if you want to be the best that is, you know what I mean? And mate, it's you need to pick up what you can. And Bernard Hopkins, for me, is one of them fighters where if he went on till he's about 40 something, so he lived the right life, and I just love to watch people like that, really.
Raza, we saw recently that you signed a management deal with Mr. Dave Caldwell. Just tell us, how did that link up come about, first of all, mate?
Dave, I've been sparring up Dave's gym since last year, July, August. And I was with another manager then, which didn't go too well, and I didn't have a fight. I was going to sign a promotion deal again with Frank Warren, but listen, it didn't happen. And Dave was speaking to my trainer, and things just fell into place, and I started chatting to Dave a lot more, sparring down. Then the conversation come along, and listen, Dave's one of them managers. From what I know, is he gets his fighters opportunities. He gets his fighters chances, and it's all about if you're ready or not. So yeah, Dave, it was always probably going to happen anyways. I had other options. But them other options were more like me getting babysitted, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we can do this for you, and we can do that for you, and we can do that for you. But with all your respect, in the current climate we're sitting in now, it's about just getting in the ring and fighting and earn whatever you can earn and taking your chances. Because right now I've not fought for 15 months. I was on top of my game. I was with the best promotion back then, Frank Warren. I was with a good management, but my career's gone a bit stale. But now I'm with Dave. He's a no bullshit manager. Basically, he's gonna get you into fights which are 50-50, or he's gonna throw you into the lines. Then, and listen, man, with the current climate we're sitting in, I don't want no looking after stages no more. I just want to be in fights, and it's sink or swim, basically.
Wicked, mate. I mean, obviously, you must be very excited, to link up with Dave. He's, such an experienced, successful, and popular figure in boxing. Is, like you just said, and you feel like careers, maybe went a bit stale. Is this a sort of link up, rejuvenated the career, would you say?
Yeah, mate, my career's been I've been a pro for 5.5, 6 years. And, when I turned pro from the amateur, I was a standout amateur. I won everything besides international medals. Well, I won a European cadet medal, but I was a highly rated amateur. I turned pro. I mean, I was meant to have 5 or 6 step-up fights. All 6 or 7 pulled out on me. And the week of the fight was...
They must have done their research, Johnny Raz.
Mate, I'm telling you, man, I was meant to fight somebody like Louis Petit 3 times for the European title, WBO European. He pulled out against me 3 times. I was meant to fight, mate, the list goes on. And it was always on the week of the fight. So it was one bad thing to another bad thing, mate. But you know what? It's not, if that all had come off for me then and I was a champion now, I wouldn't appreciate it and I wouldn't be as hungry as I am now. A lot of people think I'm not hungry anymore, but I am, mate. And, my career, it's like if it takes off, mate. If it don't, I'll give it my best.
Just interested to know as well, Raz, I mean, given that Dave is obviously a superb trainer as well in his own right, will you ever turn to him for advice in sort of a tactical or training capacity, or is it purely and strictly just the business side of things you talk to him about, mate?
No, mate. I'm a boxer who's I'm a boxer who's open to ideas and who's open to opportunity. And listen, mate, if you know something that I can know, if there's something you can teach me, I'm like a sponge, mate. I'm gonna ask you that. Like, even when I'm sparring up there, when I'm training up there, I'm always asking for a bit of advice and a bit of what do I do here or what do I do there. Because in this sport, mate, boxing's like life. You never stop learning. You never stop learning, mate. And listen, it's little things, mate. He's been with the elite of the elite. So, he's been in with some world-class fighters. So I'll always be asking, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? It's not just strictly business, mate. Anybody I do business with, I go in there and I look at it as a friendship too, mate. So, yeah, I'll be asking a lot and maybe be training there and sparring there a lot too.
No, great, Raz. I mean, obviously, after 16 months of inactivity, and like you said, it's extremely frustrating for you. Is there any sort of news on the horizon, mate? Any fight news that is coming your way that you could tell us about?
Yeah, well, now it's Ramadan, so I was going to have a month off. I always have this month off in Ramadan. I'll be fighting in the end of June, early July, possibly late July. I don't know who yet, but I'd love a good fight. Even though I've not been in the ring for 15, 16, by then it'll be 17 months. But listen, that don't matter. I'm a fighter who lives in the gym when I'm when it's not Ramadan and stuff. So I just want to get a fight, mate. I want to be in the ring. Isaac Lowe's a shitbag, and the rest. But yeah, anyone, mate, anyone that can get a fight with me, I'd love a fight.
Yeah, I think we've got our headline there. Isaac Lowe is a shitbag.
I mean, it's been a crazy year, Raz, for everybody, and obviously the months have just seemed to fly by. But there's still time left in 2021. So, realistically, what's your target for how many times you want to be out now for the rest of the year? Is it once, twice? What are you looking at, mate?
It's one of them ones, mate. At the moment, with the current climate we're living in, it's winner stays on, isn't it? You have to win your first fight, mate. You can't lose, mate. You win. There's a potential you can be at 3 times. You can fight in July. You can fight in October. You can fight in December. If you look good winning all them 3 fights, mate, within 6 months your career can change. So, I would love to fight. I could say to you, I want to fight 3 times, but I have to win my first fight, mate. It's my first impression. I'm back, and I'd just love to win my first fight, and then we can rethink again. And then the ball's in my court, isn't it, mate? Because I'm the winner.
Definitely.
Yeah, of course, mate.
We know that everything is sort of settling back into place. How quickly will you be looking to move through the division? You a fight through set sort of long-term targets, or is it just fight this fight the next fight, and so on?
Well, mate, I've had 15 fights. I've sparred the best of the best. I've been in the ring with Inui. I've spent time with him, with P4P King. I've been in the ring when Stuart Hall was world champion, when Kalya fight. I've been around him for 5-6 years. I've been around some class fighters, mate. For me, it's about, nobody knows how good I am as a pro yet. Let's be honest, sparring is sparring, but in them 8-ounce gloves, I'd like to fight somebody who's competitive, is going to come to win, and then we'll see how good I am, if I am good enough. Do you know what I mean, mate? It comes down to what it's like in the 8-ounce gloves. Because listen, mate, everybody's good when they're sparring in 14-ounce gloves and a head guard on. But let me tell you, when you've got the 8-ounce gloves on, it's a way different story, mate. Way different story. And, you know, you get a lot of questions asked about you. So I'd like to fight in a big step-up fight, a good fight. I don't mind if it's a 70-30 fight, 30% in my favour on record against a really good former champion or somebody, made over 10 rounds. Listen, man, I want to get thrown in. And then we see where we go from there.
I mean, you mentioned how many fights you've had there and just touched upon your record. You still carry an undefeated record. Is preserving that record something that weighs heavy on you personally, mate? Or is it just a case of, you know, rising up those rankings and chasing the glory and the titles?
A record is, I mean, every fighter wants to stay undefeated. Every single fighter would never want to lose. And for somebody like me, losing is, I'd rather die than lose, mate. I'd rather fucking die than lose. If I'm getting beat, mate, I will find a way to win. That's how I've always been. But listen, mate, I'm 27 now. I've got a family, you know, to feed. I need to fight. You know, and undefeated records are for DJs, mate. A lot of champions and a lot of good, successful fighters ain't undefeated anymore. But listen, I'm not saying that, oh, if I lose, what then, mate? I'm not going to lose. But if it ever happens, I will make sure I learn why I lost and take the good and the bad from that loss. Do you know what I mean? And I won't let it happen again if I lose, mate. But I doubt I will.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, obviously no fighter ever wants to lose a fight, as you said. But I mean, if that ever happens, I suppose we find a lot out, you know, about a person and a fighter of how they regroup and how they recover and react to that, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely, mate. You know, I've been around some great fighters, mate, and I've seen how they've come back after a loss. It can make or break you, do you know what I mean? But listen, I'm one of them fighters. If I was to take a loss, I'd love to have, you know, avenge that loss. I'd love to fight the guy again. I'd love to know what went wrong. But it's always on the fighter, isn't it? It's once I'm in the ring, mate, it's got nothing to do with my trainer, my friends, my family. It's on me. So the only way I will lose is if I've done something wrong or if I've not prepared properly. And I would always want to fix that. But as you go up in the ranks, mate, from my experience and from what I've seen around people, it's them small 0.5% things that matter. How you live out of the gym, what you're eating, what time you're sleeping, your nutrition, your training method, and it all adds up. It all adds up. So as I step up in the ranks, I'll be making sure these 0.5% things are bang on, mate, and I've got the right team around me and the right stuff around me with my training and my nutrition and everything, mate, because this is a very serious sport. Boxing is not a joke. You can get fucking hurt in there, man, and you have to be careful, man. You have to work your heart, work your ass off, and you got to live the right life, basically.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, speaking of sort of two people in your sort of division, you know, you got, you know, Raza Dickens and obviously Kid Gal had a set to meet for to fight for a world title. I mean, does this inspire you, mate, seeing, you know, the journey both of them have been on, the fact they've had to take difficult fights, you know, it hasn't been easy for them. I mean, seeing them now finally getting their shot, does it give you that sort of impetus?
Absolutely. I've known Raza Dickens since I was 15 years old. I'm talking 12 years ago. Me and Raza were always in the amateurs coming up, and Raza was 1 year older than me, but he was winning everything at the weight above and the year above everything, and I was winning everything the year below. Do you know what I mean? And listen, mate, even with Kid's been a pro for years, mate, but he had some bad luck. So after Raza got beat by Regondo for 2.5 years, Raza went missing, mate. He was fighting in America and Spain on small hall shows. So, you know, it just inspires me to know these boys have worked the balls off, man. They really deserve it, both of them, mate. It's written for them both, man. And I know whoever wins, mate, they deserve it, and whoever loses, I hope they come again. But it's a good fight. It's a harder fight than people think. It's gonna be that first fight was a very good fight between them, but this fight, mate, I think it's gonna be a very, very game chess match. It's gonna be like a chess match. I don't think people expect Raza to just come and come and come, but I think Raza's gonna box very smart this time, and I think it's gonna be a very close points win for one of them. I don't know who though, mate. I'm sitting on the edge.
Sitting on that fence, Raz, yeah.
I am, mate, because it's a good fight, and I've just been following them both, mate, and I've been seeing Jazza training at 4, 5 in the morning, mate, and kids always live the correct life, mate, and I've always heard his dedication to the sports amazing. So I just can't wait to watch that fight, man. It's going to be a good fight, that is.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
It's going to be a boxing match. It's going to be a really good boxing match. It's not going to be a brawl. It's going to be a very good. It's going to take something special to win that fight, whoever wins it.
I just want to go back to what we mentioned briefly earlier, as is obviously you said, about the link up with Dave, and you said yourself you're down there in the gym, you spar in there quite regularly and training there regularly. One of his fighters, of course, is Jordan Gill, who is of course making big movements in your division himself. I suppose he's one of the lads down there that you regularly share sparring with, mate. Is that right?
I've sparred Jordan once or twice. He's a very good fighter. But once again, he lives the right life, and with him, he gets everything right as well. Because I've been talking to him a lot too. So at the moment, he's a few steps ahead of me. Do you know what I mean? He's ranked number 4 and number 5 in the world. I'm sure. I don't know, something like that, in the top 10.
Yeah. So
he's looking at world honors. But listen, when you're around fighters like that, who are stepping on fringe world level now and going to be fighting for major titles, it just inspires you, and he's a stable mate now, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Even Lee Wood's a very good friend of mine. He was in Japan with me when we were sparring Inoue, and he never fought then for 2 years, and I was meant to fight Petit. I was on the rise, and Lee Wood was
what was that like, mate? What was that in Inoue, sparring in Inoue? What was that? That must have been immense.
Unbelievable, mate. We were there for 3 weeks. They even called me to come back, but I couldn't go back because my brother died. Do you know what I mean? So it was amazing, mate. He is some fighter. He is some man. He can punch, man. He's good.
He's special, mate. Isn't he special?
Yeah, he's probably juiced up as well. I'm joking. He's a good fighter, mate. He's a special fighter, man, and he can punch. He can punch, and he's got a very good boxing IQ too.
Yeah, mate. I mean, tell us what. I mean, you did touch on it briefly earlier. What can sparring sort of do for you when you continue progress? And we obviously mentioned the gloves are completely different when you get in the ring, but spars, like, would you say they could definitely add to your sort of armory moving forward in your career?
Absolutely. Sparring the best sparring world champions, former world champions, current world champions, you're gonna learn little things, ain't you? You're gonna pick up experience, and it's then on you to take that experience away. But whenever I spar these boys, I'll give it my best. But what I've realized is, whenever they're sparring, all these world champions and these class fighters, they're practicing stuff. They're practicing stuff. Like some guy you might spar somebody, and he'll come and practice. The top boys are coming into the spar not to get hit, to practice the jab, to practice the movement. Then obviously they're coming into the spar to take your head off.
Yeah.
What are they benefiting? What are they benefiting from that? The top boys are practicing something. If you can do it in a spar and you can keep doing it, you're going to benefit off it. But you're going to come in the ring and try having a war with me for 6 rounds, go home with a headache. Mate, your career ain't going to last for long. You probably won't even pass your brain scan next year. So I've learned that as well. I've learned that sparring these guys, it's all about learning. It's all about learning. I might have a bad spar today. Why did I have a bad spar? I never used my jab. Next time I come back, I'm only going to use my jab. Do you know what I mean? So I've learned over the years of how to spar correct, how to train correct. And trust me, it's been 6 years I've been a pro, and I've learned so much. I've got way more to learn yet, but I think I'm on the right path.
I mean, you mentioned that the sort of guys that come in to try and, take the head off the novices. I mean, why is that, mate? Do you think they do that for some sort of, to say, I just got in there with Raza and I beat him up? Do you think is that the reason why they sort of do it?
Absolutely. People love to prove a point, basically. People love to come to the gym and I got the better of them in sparring. But when you fight with me and you spar with me, you need to understand one thing. I am not that fighter you sparred, because you maybe sparred me 6 week, 8 week out of a fight. When I'm down to featherweight and I've rehydrated and I'm fit and healthy in them 8-ounce gloves, you ain't landing a finger on me. Do you know what I mean? I know that, and you know that. So sparring for people, for them, when they come to spar me, I used to see, you know, when I was sparring with Cal, people would come up there and they would try their best to do a job on him, but he'd outbox him. He's smart, he's thinking, and he's practicing. And that's what I've learned over the years. Every single spar I go into, I practice. Unless you've come to the spar today and you've done something which has pissed me off, I'll get you back next time, if there is a next time.
Before
Raza, just before we finish, Raza, I just want to ask you as well, because I don't think we've asked you enough on him, mate. You mentioned the name of Isaac Lowe. There's obviously a little bit of beef there. What's the situation there, mate? Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, it's not a beef. All it is his ranked top 10 in the world, right? He's ranked with every sanctioning body in the top 10 of the world. He's talking about, well, I've said this 100 times. There's no beef. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. And if I look at the top 5, 6 in Britain, anyway, I look at him and I think, if there's anybody I want to fight next, it's him. Because I can see myself beating him. Nothing personal. He's a champion and he's got something I want. And, do you blame me?
Purely just business, mate. Purely just business.
Yes, purely business, mate. Nothing personal. And listen, I'd love to box Isaac Lowe, but like I said once before, he loves to fight these grade E Mexican taxi drivers and people who clean windows, and he likes to look good again. I mean, he got cut in his last fight with the kid he was meant to beat. Do you know what I mean?
Ed Harrison, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I said I'd be his first fight of the year, but he goes, he don't have nothing to prove by beating me. I mean, I'm sure he'd get a lot more credit by beating me. But listen, he's on his own path and I'm on my own path. If the fight ever happens, I will whoop his ass. If I ever see him, I'm going to whoop his ass. Yeah, listen, I'd love that fight. And, I know beating Isaac Lowe, getting in the ring with him, it would tell me where I am with myself, and it'd tell me what level I'm at, because some people think he's fringe world level. Is he? If I beat him, what does that make me? He's ranked in the top 10 of every sanctioning body, apparently. So, if that fight happens, I'm sick and tired of calling him. He ain't going to fight me. And when I win a title, Isaac, then I'm going to call you out, and then you've got nowhere to run.
Wicked, Raz. Well, Raz, I got to say, on behalf of Southwest Boxing Media, thanks so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and we really hope that you get out soon next after, and I hope obviously Ramadan goes well for you as well, and we'll see you back in the ring doing the business.
Thank you very much, boys.
Yeah, take care, Raz. Nice one, mate.
Thank you.